On Christmas night in 1945, an incident happened in West Virginia, America, which even today, when remembered, gives a shiver in the soul. A man named George Souder was celebrating Christmas with his wife Jenny Souder and 10 lovely children. Every face was lit up with happiness. But who knew that this night was going to turn into a nightmare which till date remains an insoluble mummer. Something happened like this towards the end of the night. It was 1 o'clock when suddenly a fire broke out in the house. George and Janie ran out with their 4 children, but the 5 children sleeping in the room above disappeared forever. Neither their bones nor their bodies were ever found. Any other target? Did they really get burnt in the fire or were they kidnapped? Was this fire really an accident or was it specially planned? Once again, happy in the videos of Jam TV. Nazarene, this is not just a story but a secret that continues to stun the world even today. Let's try to understand each and every aspect of this unsolved mystery. George Souder was a hard-working Italian immigrant who was a strict follower of Italian dictator Benny Mussolini. He was against it, which is why he was forced to leave Italy and live in America. Speaking openly against the Italian dictator could have been a problem for him, but he never showed any fear. In America, he ran a trucking business and fortunately, he also had his own home. His wife, Jenny Souder, was a dedicated housewife who handled her children with love and discipline. On Christmas Day, the 24th of December, 1945, Souder's children were playing with their new toys. Night falls and they go upstairs. 5 children go to sleep in their beds. At around 1 o'clock in the night, Janie feels smoke in the house. When she goes to check, she finds that for some reason there is smoke in the kitchen. The fire has already started. George and Janie go out with their 4 children, but the 5 children sleeping in the room above remain inside. George does everything possible to save them. When George Souder ran to the second-floor window, he saw that his ladder was missing from its place. Then he thought of using his coal truck to reach the window, but when he switched on the ignition the truck also did not start and the other truck was also not working. Wall Fire tried to call the department but unfortunately there was no response. Later, when somehow the fire chief was contacted, the fire brigade reached the spot after hours. Everyone felt that due to some reason the house caught fire in which 5 children were killed. He left this world after burning, but as much as this case seemed normal to see and hear, it was equally complicated. Next morning when the investigation started, the officials also gave a similar statement and gave a similar statement to the case. They said that the children had been burnt to death due to the fire, but this was beyond everyone's understanding because the bones of the human body cannot turn into ashes even at a temperature of 800 degrees Celsius, especially those parts of the bones which contain calcium, which also includes human teeth. They do not turn into ash even in the furnace. Then how did it happen that in the fire in Souder's house, neither bones or teeth of not 1 but 5 children were found? Later, the forensic investigation also confirmed that the duration of the fire was not so much that it could turn the bones into ashes. This was a matter of great concern. That is why the Souder family rejected the investigation report as soon as it was done. The team attributed the fire to a short circuit in the kitchen, but George Souder said that he had recently got all the new wiring done and there was no question that there was any fault in it. When George Souder tried to recall the moments of the accident, he also remembered some things which indicated something was wrong. At the time of the fire, when he picked up the phone to call the fire brigade, the wire was cut and it was also proved in the investigation that indeed the phone line of Souder's house was cut by someone from outside. Because in case of breaking and cutting of the phone line, its edge is not smooth but it has to be cut with pliers. But the edges look quite smooth. Later Jenny Souder remembered that at exactly 12:30 the house phone rang and there was a woman on the other side who was laughing loudly, on which Jenny disconnected the phone by saying wrong number. The phone line had been disconnected at 10 o'clock and there had been a strange call just half an hour before, so this meant that the phone line had been disconnected half an hour before the fire. This night was full of strange incidents. First the phone call and a few minutes before the fire, Janie also heard the sound of something falling on the roof. When later nothing was heard, then Janie turned over and went to sleep and after a few minutes, she felt the smell of smoke. Apart from this, the ladder which George kept was there. He was missing from there at the time of the accident and both of George's trucks were recovered from a field far away from his home, which were working perfectly till a day before. How did both of them get damaged during the fire? Due to all these incidents, George Souder's doubt, he became convinced that his children were not dead but had been kidnapped. But how did someone run away with them in such a commotion? The story behind the investigation is that a few months before this accident, an insurance agent had come to George Souder and asked him about the house. He insisted a lot on taking insurance, but when Souder flatly refused to take insurance, he finally left the agent threatening Souder that you will realize it only when your house catches fire. Would it seem that someone used the fire to divert people's attention and at the same time kidnapped the children? The second theory is that the Italian mafia did not like George Souder's open statement against the Italian dictator Musello. That is why the Italian mafia did not like it. Made their target and took his children under their control. Some people also claimed to have seen Souder's children at different places after the fire. A woman said she saw children in a hotel, a strange couple. Other reports say that he was seen being taken away in a car. It has been confirmed that the soldier's children did not die due to the fire, so where did he go after 1 year of the accident? Later, some new evidence comes to light. The investigation team, which had earlier said short circuit was the cause of the fire, was proved wrong. The new investigation revealed that the fire was deliberately set. At that time, a bus driver was passing by who said that she saw some people throwing something like a fireball. A few months later, when the snow melted, a round rubber-like object was also found near the house, which is called a pineapple bomb. A few minutes before the fire, Jenny found that he remembered the sound which had come due to something falling on the roof. Perhaps it was this pineapple bomb. George and Jenny devoted their lives to finding the answer to this mystery. They left no stone unturned and sought every possible lead. They also made a big billboard which had pictures of the missing children and also promised a reward. After about 20 years, in 1960, Jenny received a letter. In this letter there was a picture of a man who was very similar to her son Louis. It was similar, and the only thing written in the letter was Louis Souder. I love my brother Frankie. Was this letter really written by one of the 5 children who went missing, or was it a prank by George and Jenny? A private detective was hired to investigate this letter, but no trace of Louis Souder was found. Years passed one by one, but this mystery could not be solved. George Souder died in 1969. Jenny and her surviving children were missing. The sisters kept trying to find answers about their brothers. After George's death, Jenny did not leave the family home. She put up fencing around the house and new rooms were built, and for the rest of her life she always wore black clothes out of grief. After Jenny's death in 1989, the family finally removed the old and dilapidated billboard that had been put up for missing children. Are these children a tragedy? Whether he was a victim or a part of some big conspiracy, this is a mystery that may never be solved. Hopefully I will find MYST Gloom. I hope you all like and share this video. Thank you very much for your loving comments. See you in the next great video.